So we already covered Elemental Heroes for our latest Speed Duel deck profile. Well, this time we're going to be going for some Destiny Hero action. Hello Yu-Gi-Oh players and speed duelists, welcome back to another deck profile and in-depth building guide video, as well as gameplay. In case you guys didn't know, I hosted one of the greatest YUGITUBER King of Speed Duel tournament celebrating the release of the GX Duel Academy box. We got 8 legendary content creators within the Yu-Gi-Oh and TCG community space, participating and clashing against each other for the champion title. We also live streamed the event, and I guarantee you guys that this is something you do not want to miss out. So head on over there and watch that video as well, as links will be left on the top right iCard right here and in the description box down below. But that's not just all with the tournament, we actually even have 8 legendary deck profiles, and these 8 deck profiles are really great for all of you guys who are getting into Speed Duel for the very first time, because all the decks made here are utilized from the 3 copies of the Speed Duel GX Duel Academy box. Aster Phoenix and the Destiny Heroes are one of Jaden's destined rivals. Destiny Heroes are all dark types, and they're not as bright looking compared to the Elemental Heroes. They may not look like it, but they're actually good guys too. The designs are based from comic book anti-heroes with British culture mixed together. Fusion summoning is also one of their core mechanics to bring out boss monsters and various of them to win the game and get even stronger effects. Which is why this build does heavily focus on the strongest and the best Destiny Hero Fusion monster that was introduced for Speed Duel from the GX Duel Academy box, which is Destiny End Dragoon. If any of you guys who keep up with regular Yu-Gi-Oh, this is basically both Red Eyes Dark Dragoon and Destiny Hero Phoenix Enforcer combined, but for the Speed Duel format. Our goal is simple: bring this guy out as soon as we can and cause destruction, or swing for massive damage when we can, and then we win. Simple. There is also another game plan though, and that is to gain more subscribers with this deck profile video right here. If you guys generally enjoy Speed Duel or wanting to get into Speed Duel, this is the perfect place to be. So be sure to hit that subscribe button right now for more Yu-Gi-Oh and Speed Duel videos. Also, don't forget to give this video a like, as it really helps support the channel. Now let's get into the deck profile.
Alright, just like always, let's start off with the skills first. I always want to talk about the character skills that came in the GX Duel Academy box. So we first off have powerful group of guys, which is Aster Phoenix default skill. Now it has a huge paragraph and it does quite a lot of things. It doesn't actually do a lot of things, it only does one thing, but there's a lot of restrictions and requirements. It basically allows you to special summon a Destiny Hero monster only if you control exactly one Destiny Hero monster and no other monsters, and your opponent controls more monsters than you. That's already a lot, but this Destiny Hero monster you get to special summon, it can be from your hand or deck. However, the level of that monster has to be lower level than the one you actually control. Now that's another huge restriction. Also, you have to flip this card over at the end of the turn that you activated, meaning it's not once per duel, so you can use it again and again turn after turn if it ever happens, but it's just really difficult to pull this off. And then the other one we have right here is looking into the future, which is the secondary skill for Aster Phoenix. This one is a lot simpler because during your main phase you can look at the top 3 cards of your deck and rearrange them in any order. However, you cannot activate any other spells the turn you activate this skill, meaning that even if you activate a spell before or after, you can't be using the skill. Also, flip the skill card over at the end of the turn, meaning that this is not once per duel, you can keep using it once per turn again and again, which is great. This card is just clearly dedicated for Destiny Hero Diamond Dude, which is a completely different build than what we're showcasing today. So we're going to talk about that more in detail when we do get to that instead. So there's nothing too much to talk about for these 2 Aster Phoenix skills, because just like the Jaden skills, unfortunately, they're very lackluster. Which is why, once again, we got the best character for any fusion-based decks. Once again, we have Christine with Fusion Party. Once again, for you guys who don't know what Fusion Party does, this is basically polymerization in a form of skill, and you can only use it once per duel, which is always fantastic because you always want to keep consistency, and the whole idea of this deck is to fusion summon as much as you can and as quickly as you can. Maybe not as much as you can, but as quickly as you can. So let's go into the monsters first. I actually want to talk about the extra deck, because this is actually going to be more important and more relevant to what the decks that we to the whole entire deck what we're talking about for today. And that's the first thing, where we have 3 Destiny End Dragoons right here. This is your boss monster that you want to keep getting into consistently as soon as possible, right at when the game starts, in your early stages of the game. That's your whole goal of the deck, is to bring out this boss monster right here. It's extremely powerful. It's 3000 attack and 3000 defense, and it does a whole lot of things, but this time all the things it does gives you value. Really good. Basically, it requires Destiny Hero Plasma and Destiny Hero Dogma to fusion summon this guy, but once per turn, you can target one monster your opponent controls and basically destroy it. And if that monster was face up to begin with, you basically get to inflict damage to your opponent equal to the attack of that monster, which is really strong. However, you cannot conduct your battle phase when you activate this effect this turn, which is totally okay, because being able to pop monsters is just really great. You know, there's no cost to it whatsoever. And then it has a secondary effect where if this card is in your graveyard during the standby phase, you can banish one Destiny Hero card from your graveyard to special summoning. So basically, it has floating capabilities. You're always going to be having both Dogma and Plasma in your graveyard once you fusion summon this card right here, and it can come back twice afterwards, which is really strong. It's not that easy to out this card generally, but it's just that powerful and that strong of a boss monster. And I want to make a quick note, it's kind of unfortunate they didn't print this in a secret rare for such a cool card, and I guess I hope they print it out in the next tournament pack for Speed Duel. But anyways, that's the 3 of that you must play, no less. Destiny End Dragoon. Next, we do have another Destiny Hero monster right here. We have Destiny Hero Dangerous. This card is also really good. He's really strong. He just requires one Destiny Hero monster and one other Dark Effect monster, so it's very easy to get into. He's got 2000 attack and 2600 defense. Fairly decent stats. It has a quick effect though. You can discard one card to send one Destiny Hero monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard. And if you do, Destiny Hero monsters you control, including itself, gain 200 attack for each Destiny Hero monster in your graveyard until the end of this turn. Keep in mind that this is a quick effect, so it's really good, so you can use it basically any player's turn at any given time in any phases, which is fantastic. However, it is only just once per turn, and you can make lots of versatile plays with this card. If you can't get into Destiny End Dragoon, your second go-to card is definitely Destiny Hero Dangerous. Otherwise, he's just that good as well. Fantastic card. So that's it for the fusion deck right off the bat. Now let's move into the actual main monsters. We first have 100% 3 copies of Destiny Hero Plasma. Destiny Hero Plasma is really cool. It requires 3 monsters for you to tribute to special summon this card out. And it has an extremely powerful continuous effect. It simply negates all your opponent's monster effects on the board, which is really good. Not only that, once per turn you can target one monster your opponent controls and equip that monster to this target, and then basically it can only equip one monster one at a time, very similar to Relinquish, but it also gains the attack equal half of the original attack of the monster equipped to it by this effect. Keep in mind, if you equip something that's face down, you don't gain anything, but if you equip something that's face up, you do gain the half attack, which is really strong. It doesn't have the protection, but still very powerful card. Now I want to quickly mention that it does require 3 tributes, and you rarely actually will be summoning this card ever, because this is just really your material for End Dragoon. However, in some situations it's pretty neat, because if your opponent Nightmare Wheels you or gives you Floodgate Trap Hole, you got some monsters that on the board are sticking. And in some situations, sometimes, very rarely though, but when it does happen, it's really nice, because you can tribute those monsters, all 3 of your monsters, to bring this guy out, and now your board is clear once again, which is actually really nice. So that's Destiny Hero Plasma essentially. For the next one, similar to Plasma, we got Dogma right here. Dogma is also really cool. Same as Plasma, you basically can tribute 3 of your monsters to special summon this card, meaning that the whole Floodgate Trap Hole and the Nightmare Wheel thing that I mentioned earlier would be fantastic. Different to Plasma though, this has a different effect. Once per turn, if you still control this face-up card during your opponent's next standby phase, after you special summon it this way, you get to half your opponent's life points. This card is a little bit stronger in terms of attack power, the strongest monster actually in the entire deck. It's got 3400 attack and 2400 defense, which is really strong. Once again, you rarely ever would summon this guy, because it's the material you need to bring out End Dragoon. But situations that you might sometimes will is good. Next up, we got 3 Breaker the Magical Warriors, the best staple to basically help you remove any back row cards that your opponent has. You gotta remove a lot of back row cards to make it clear and safe for you to special summon your Destiny End Dragoon, because there's cards once again like Floodgate, Nightmare Wheel, Book of Moon, stuff like that. You want to get rid of those as soon as possible so you make it safe and that's the reason why Breaker is played in this deck. And also it's because it's dark, and we're going to get into it because it's going to be helping very nicely for you to special summon your Destiny Hero Dangerous, or I mean fusion summon it basically. Then I have one Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer. Once again, the similar aspect of being dark is really important, but I just think this is generally just a really strong stable card against any matchup anyways, because you can get to banish monsters from your opponent's graveyard, which is fantastic. Most decks need to utilize the graveyard somewhat in this format, so having it one in the main deck is not bad at all. It's got 1800 attack, which is also really strong, so yeah, one of. And then last but not least, we've got two Sphere Kuribohs right here. Sphere Kuribohs is really good, because I want to mention that DD Warrior Lady is one of the hardest counters for this deck, because DD Warrior Lady can run into your End Dragoon and get rid of it very easily, and your End Dragoon cannot come back. In order to stop that, Sphere Kuriboh does the job, and not to mention, once again, it's dark type. However, of course, we don't play any rituals, so we don't utilize its ritual effects secondary. But anyways, this is why we run the two spheres. That's it for the monsters. Let's move into the spells. For the spells, we have one Polymerization, because Fusion Party can only be used once per duel, meaning that we do want a second fusion summoning that usually happens in the game, so that's why I want to play one more Polymerization. However, I want to make a note to you guys that you rarely fusion summon that consistently. You know, once you bring it out once or twice, that's all you need. You want consistency in terms of all your other cards, and you won't want to run any more Polymerizations, because if you do, you're going to be starting to brick, and it's going to be less consistent, and the game usually ends by the time when you summon your first and second fusion monster anyways. So that's Polymerization right here. Next up, the whole reason why we play Dark as well is because we got 3 Allure of Darknesses right here. We need this card ASAP, because this helps us draw into our combo pieces for our Fusion Party once again to fusion summon our Destiny End Dragoon for the fusion materials. That's really simply it, because everything we play inside this deck is dark, so it just works out so well. That's why I like 3 Allures. Next up, I did mention about back row removal. To tag alongside with Breaker, we have 2 Night Beams right here. You guys can play Cosmic Cyclones, totally up to you, personal preference. Night Beam I just find the greatest, because it doesn't cost you anything, and it's fast and efficient, so yeah, that's really it. Then, to round up the spells, we've got 2 Book of Moons right here. Once again, wrapping to our conversation back with Sphere Kuriboh, Book of Moon serves the same purpose to help us, you know, stop any cards like such as DD Warrior Lady essentially, and that's really important, so basically Book of Moon right here. So that's it for the 20 card main deck. There's actually no traps whatsoever, so let's jump into the side deck. For the side deck, we have one more Kaiku, the Ghost Destroyer. Once again, if you're playing more graveyard-centric decks, you want to be adding more Kaikus and substituting in from your side deck into your main deck, which is going to be very helpful. Next up, for more back row removals, just in case, depending on the situation, sometimes Cosmic Cyclone is a bit better than Night Beam, so I do want to substitute that in sometimes. So yeah, that's just for contingency, depending on the matchup for back rows. And then right here, we got 1 B Fusion, just really good against fusion-based decks against our opponents, just to take out their fusion monsters and basically help us out to deal with them, because a lot of them are very powerful and strong, so having a 1-of is always nice just in case. Now, we got 1 Mind Crush right here. This card is just so good. I would actually run more copies if I could here, because in this format, we know Cyber Angels is incredibly powerful, and there's a lot of public knowledge. There's a whole lot of searching going on as well, and if you can identify and know your matchups very well, you can actually call the right card very often enough time and basically ruin your opponent's entire game win condition essentially just by 1 Mind Crush alone. So that's why Mind Crush is a must-have in the side deck at the moment. Last but not least, 1 Lost Wind, just really good against like any special summon monsters in general. Stopping their effects is just fantastic, and then you get to reset it if your opponent special summons a monster from the extra deck as well. So pretty standard essentially. So that will wrap up for the entire deck profile here, guys, and let's jump into the gameplay with our feature match today. Alright guys, welcome to the very first duel of our Destiny Hero deck profile right here, or even we call it Destiny End Dragoon duel right here. So right off the bat today, we're playing against Crystal Beasts, which is really cool. Right off the bat, they basically summon their Pegasus set 1 along with a Cobalt Eagle, and right here we already have full combo ready to go. We got both Plasma and Dogma, as well as our skill Fusion Party. So we basically can go into our boss monster End Dragoon right off the bat. We also have very nice Polymerization for a great follow-up coming out turn. This is a great opening hand along with Night Beam. So of course we're going to play the Night Beam, taking down their back row card first just in case, and then we basically use our Fusion Party to bring out Destiny End Dragoon, saving the Polymerization for later, just in case. And we've got a Dogma for follow-up as well. We're going to immediately use its effect to basically pop their Sapphire Pegasus and deal damage right there. Because it's face up, they take 18 straight of face. More worth it than swinging in so far, so already everything's looking really good for us on our end. At this point, our opponent doesn't really have too much play. Seems like they're going to have to set their cards face down. And wow, we got another full combo right here. We got Plasma and Dogma again, and Polymerization, so we can actually go into another Destiny End Dragoon right here at this moment. This is why you got to play 3 copies of each back in the deck profile that I mentioned. You need the consistency, and this is how important it really is. So we're just going to go for it. And it looks like they flip up their Crystal Conclave right at this point. So Crystal Conclave is actually going to be really good against us, essentially. So we're going to try to attempt into battle phase and try to end game right here. They do use their Poly Crystal Conclave to special summon, and we're going to swing into their Mammoth, dealing the extra damage right here. Now, they get this option. They're going to want to probably bounce one of our Dragoons, which is really good because Dragoon being bounced back into the extra deck, meaning that it's not sent to the graveyard. We can't bring it back during the standby phase, but we still have 1 Dragoon right here, which is fantastic. So it looks like what they got here, they're gonna go into Sapphire Pegasus, rare value combo, getting more cards, using their skill Crystal Transcendence right here. What it does is basically they have to, you know, pitch up to 3 cards from their hand, and they get to basically put more Crystal Beasts equal to the amount that they pitch from their hand to the graveyard and put them into spell and trap zones. Really good for turboing the resources they need. Another rare value. This is really like optimal combo for them. They set 1 and pass. Well, looks like we might got it here. Oh, right here, just after our standby phase, they basically pop our End Dragoon. So it's really smart that they did it here, because if they popped it during the standby phase, we would have been able to special summon it back. But they did it during our main phase, as you guys can see right here. They popped it there. Maybe the replay was a little bit too fast, so you guys may have missed it, but I'm just trying to explain to you guys right here at this moment. And yeah, our End Dragoon can't come back until the next turn, and we drew into our Breaker, so got no other choice but to normal summon it. We see a clear field with no back rows, so we just immediately just swing in to take down their Pegasus right here. We're almost there. They only have 800 life points. Really good play on their part, honestly, using their second part of their Crystal Transcendence. And here comes their amazing boss monster, Rainbow Dragon, and they did turbo it out right here, swinging with Topaz Tiger and hitting us straight to the face. We're 4,000 right here, one-shotting us for game. Man, that was a good duel to start for our game 1, but don't worry, we're gonna make a comeback in game 2. Alright, so here for game 2, that was an amazing game 1 like I mentioned earlier. That was really cool. But let's get right into the game 2 right here, and we're gonna make a comeback. We're gonna try to take this match, essentially. So of course we make our opponent go first. They T-set and pass to us. So right now we got Plasmas, we got Breaker, which is great, so you know, and then we also have Fusion Party ready to go. As always, let's hurry up and go into our Allure. We can draw 2, banish 1. So right here we chose to banish the Plasma, meaning that we have enough resources to get into Ender Dragoon. We can also normal summon a Breaker, which is really good, so that will really help us get our advantage. Exactly what we do. Always make sure to summon Breaker first, because you want to clear out their back row cards. You don't know what there is before bringing out your Dragoon for safety. This is why Breaker is just so good in this deck. So they do flip up the Conclave right here, and we do get to pop it basically. It doesn't matter what they do because they don't have a Crystal Beast monster that they can return back to the hand. Immediately we're going to go for the full combo, utilizing Fusion Party once again to basically go for it, and let's just swing in. We're just going to swing into the face down monster, and then we're just going to swing in for some damage right here. We are a little bit greedy with the play, but it seems like we got a pretty good momentum. I highly doubt they had a DD Warrior Lady, if anything anyways, so this is the reason why I chose to do so. But anyways, passing back to them, they go again with Sapphire Pegasus, Topaz Tiger combo, rare value, here it comes. Looks like they got 1 set card right here. Now they attempt to swing into a Breaker. I'm going to assume that this is another Conclave face down. So either way, they swing into a Breaker. We want to put that Pegasus face down, so then next turn we can fret into lethal, where Breaker can swing over Pegasus, and then we can swing for game with Dragoon, forcing them to use whatever the back row card is essentially at this point. So they got nothing else left, so it comes back to us. We got another Plasma, which is really good. So as long as we get another Dark Monster, our Destiny Hero Dangerous is set up. If we get another Dogma, that would be fantastic. So let's just go for it right here. But we actually decide to pop the face down. Now, I'm not too sure why. Maybe it's a misplay on my end. We could have just tried to swing face either way, but I guess I can't remember at that moment in time. But it's okay. We're still having a good situation on our end. They do conclave us though, which now it's actually kind of worse for us because now our End Dragoon goes back to our hand. So at this moment, they're gonna summon the Topaz Tiger. They're gonna swing into us with 2000, taking down our breaker at this moment. So we are losing a bit of momentum here at this point, but we do have a little bit of life points to work with. I can't imagine them bringing out Rainbow Dragon that quick. They still don't have the resources just yet. They're gonna have to, you know, pull off like a full Crystal Transcendence combo with like double rare value again in order to sort of hit us. So we are in a very sticky and disadvantaged situation at the moment, but it looks like they don't have any other monsters to come in at us. So right here with the top deck Miracle Draw, we got our Dogma and Polymerization. We got the full combo. We're gonna Night Beam that card. Once again, it is a Conclave, so right now they have gone through 3 Conclaves at this point. So this gives us a very good situation because the only card to out us at this moment would be Crystal Raigeki, I think. So basically we go for the Dragoon, we pop their Topaz Tiger and deal the 1600 to their life points at this point, and we're basically just going to be sitting there waiting for them and see what they can do. They do their full Crystal Transcendence combo, sending as many monsters as they can, putting more into their spell and trap zone. But at this point, they have nothing. They have no back row cards that they can set, I think. So we basically swing for game right here. So we did make a comeback, scoring a 1-1 at this moment. So we're going to go into our third game for the match. So for the third game, let's go and get started. It's without a surprise our opponent would most likely want us to go first here at this point. We got a Breaker, Sphere, fantastic. We can actually go for a dangerous play if we want to bring out Destiny Hero Dangerous. But you know, we can take it slow essentially, and we're just gonna pass. I highly doubt Crystal Beasts have one hit KO combos like OTK combos, so I just decided to pass right here. You know, I don't want to play anything. I don't want anything to sort of like be in threat essentially. So I'm just gonna see what they want to do first. So they do bring out Topaz Tiger. We'll take the 16 first of all right here. And then that's a little bit life points to take, but that's okay. So right here, we drew into Kaiku. We do have quite a bit of options. So always Breaker first. Breaker will always then be an encounter to target that face down. Conclave that they got right there to pop it, but they do use it this time to bounce because they do have resources, so they do bounce our Breaker. In this situation, it's actually not too bad for us because getting our Breaker again, later we can pop something else, is actually quite decent value. And at this moment, we're just going to go for the Fusion Party. We're going to pitch away the Breaker that we had. We're going to pitch away the Plasma that we have and come out with Dangerous. Now, I want to keep Sphere Kuribo because that's like our only one defensive card. And I definitely want to keep Kaiku because Kaiku is extremely good against Crystal Beast, especially when they try to do the Rainbow Dragon Turbo, and that would essentially just stop them as a whole if we get to banish any of their monsters from the graveyard. So let's just go into Dangerous, swing in, do a little bit of damage right here, and basically sit tight and see what they got back at us. So they only can set a card face down, and we got another Kaiku. So you guys know I do have 2 Kaikus that are juggling between the side deck and the main deck. I got one in the main deck. That means we did side 1 Kaiku in into for this matchup for an extra, because like once again, based on the first game's experience, you know, we can't let them turbo Rainbow Dragon, because if they do, they can pull off that one OTK and they have that one big turn and it's all over for us. So we want to maximize our Kaikus here at this point. Being very careful, using Destiny Hero Dangerous to swing in first onto the monster, and then using Kaiku to swing in second so we can banish their materials that they needed. Right here they got Pegasus. Rare value combo once again. At this moment, Rainbow Dragon is gone, essentially, for them. So we can even see why, because they probably pitched it from their hand. They don't need it anymore. They can't bring it out. I highly doubt that they play more cats or more eagles, essentially, because it's just going to be inconsistent. So we always choose to target banish the nicher ones, so then yeah, they just can't bring out Rainbow Dragon. At this point they have to play normal Crystal Beast control, essentially. So they just have to pass their turn right here. Looks like we got pretty good situation. We're just going to bring out another Kaiku and just pressure for game, and they do have a Crystal Raigeki, popping one of our Dangerouses. But that's okay. We're just going to smash right in face to face to clash with their Pegasus right here. And we're just going to swing for game for 18 with Kaiku winning the game. Man, I got to tell you, Kaiku is definitely the MVP, because if we didn't banish those cards, these 2 cards right here, I think they could have turboed into Rainbow Dragon, and we didn't have too much life points left. At any given time, Rainbow Dragon could have just one-shot us right here. But that basically rounds up for the match. We do score 2-1, winning the entire match right here. But what an amazing duel. Really fun playing against Crystal Beast. I really like this deck playing Destiny Heroes as well. It's just really cool and fantastic. Being able to showcase a little bit of Dangerous and a little bit of End Dragoon right here is just really cool. So yeah.
That will conclude for my very own deck building strategy and in-depth guide for the Destiny Heroes Speed Duel deck profile, and gameplay as well. If you guys enjoyed the video and found it helpful, please give it a like. If you have any suggestions, recommendations, or questions, be sure to share it with everyone in the comments down below. We got lots more deck profiles coming up, so be sure to subscribe and turn on that notification bell as usual to stay tuned. Once again, if you guys haven't seen the greatest YuGITUBER Speed Duel tournament, which is the King of Speed Duel GX Duel Academy tournament, then definitely check that out right now. As always, thank you so much for watching. You guys have a great day, great night, wherever you are. See you next video. This is AVAULT signing out.